Okay, so now you've made your pattern pieces, you're now going to take your pattern pieces off your fabric. I would suggest that you do write some things on. So where you've got your centre back, you do want to mark that as your centre back. So I've taken this off, I've marked it on that one, and I've marked it on this one, so you know that this is your centre back. On your front, you don't really need to mark the centre fronts because that's on a fold, so you know that's already on a fold. So you can take both your pattern pieces off, we don't need those. We're now going to think about putting in a pocket. So this is an inseam pocket, so we're going to put our centre back over the other side there because we want to put it on the side seams. So I've got centre front on over on this side, centre back over there, and this is our side seams here. So I've decided to mark where it's going to go. So you're going to get your pocket and you can then mark it on each piece where you're going to sew. So I'll just pin this one in place. And you put your pockets in first, or you sew them first. So we're just going to sew them. I'll just pin that to both fabrics there. I just want it on one piece. Just pick that up. Make sure that this is sewn to one piece because obviously the front is going to fold out like that. So our pocket's going to do that. So we need to sew your pockets into the seam here. So we've got to attach the pockets to the first bit there. So when we sew it, it will come up like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew these in place just along here. Then I'm going to put right sides together and then I'm going to sew the whole seam and go around the pocket, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm just going to pick this up. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm just sewing these in. Right, so let's do that. Right. So let's sewing machines. I'm just going to sew. So set your seam allowance. So I'm just going to line mine up on there and I'm just going to sew from the top down to the bottom. So I'm just going to put that in place. And lift that up and out of the way. And I'm going to get some scissors to cut that. And I'm going to do the same on one of the backs of the front. So this one I'm turned around, so I've got everything on the left of the machine. Just pop that under, start there, and sew that one in place as well. Because I've put my pins in like this, I can sew over them. Lift that up, take that out, so I've got both pockets in. So now I'm going to go back to the table and lay these out. So I'm going to do right sides together. So always your right sides together. And then we're now going to put the sew them side seams in. So we can take our pockets out, or pins out, sorry, rather. Right, so I'm going to put these right sides together. So obviously that's wrong side, so I'm going to pick those up. I'm going to put that over like that. Okay, so I'm going to line up the top here. So always come up and line up. Always start. Doesn't matter if it doesn't line up at the bottom because, and I've done that wrong, haven't I? Because I want right sides together. Yep. So that's what you're not going to do. So make sure you got your right side. Check, you've got your right side. That's your seam there. Okay, so don't do what I did. And we're going to put this down. So my right side, going to pop that in. Going to join that at the top there. Then pop a pin in and then pin this way. And what we're going to do is just join up that bit there. And you can now see, hopefully, we're now going to pin, I'm going to go around the pocket and then come down here. So I'll just pin that very quickly. So you can see now that you have to actually put your pockets in first, so that when you sew, you can sew down the side, go around the pocket and then come down all the way down to the bottom here. Like that. So then you'll see that that's how our pocket's going to work, like that. So all we need to do is start at the top. I'm going to sew down here, stop, then go all the way around the pocket, then come back down the seam there. So I'll do that really quickly. So start at the top, seam allowance. You could now do a bit of back stitch here if you wanted to. I'm going to come down, stop there, needle down, turn around, and now we're going to go round the pocket. Now, because we're sewing a curve, you will want to clip this pocket on the seam once we've sewn it, so it's going to sit nice and flat. You will take a little bit longer than me. I'm just doing this quite fast. So come beyond your seam. There. Needle down, turn around, and now seam the rest of the skirt. So you can now take your pins out, and then before you turn it through, I would clip and trim down anything that you don't want. So because we've got a curve, we're going to clip this. By clipping, you don't necessarily have to trim it back. I'm just going to clip, and that'll help that lay nice and flat. And all you need to do is open out your skirt. You've got your seam. You'd give it a really good press. Press that, but you can then see that you've got your pocket inside in the seam. It's all nicely seamed. And just give it a press because it sits in, and that's how you do an in-seam pocket.